fantastic. Peter, do you know, is Eric's group, can they hear us? Are they unmuted or are they muted?
I don't know that.
They are muted.
Okay.
Let's go ahead.
They're muted. Oh, okay. Thanks very much, Joe. Okay, well, first of all, Eric, it's a privilege to speak with you. My name is Dan Catto. I'm reaching you from the shores of South Florida here, just north of Miami and Boca Raton in the United States. I am a Canadian. I've got a home back in Toronto, which I'll be heading back to here very, very shortly. But this is my winter home where I spend my winter months with my wife, myself, and our little dog. So it's a wonderful life, and it's a life and a lifestyle that we have all because really of NHT and this incredible opportunity that we have in this industry that we are now looking to bring to Nigeria and to the continent of Africa. My partner is on with us right now. His name is Joe Garcia. Eric, I know you've had some great meetings and sessions with Joe. Joe has completely lost his voice. You heard him right now. You wouldn't know it's Joe. As a matter of fact, his wife wouldn't know that it's Joe. No, yeah, you wouldn't recognize it. He's completely lost his voice because we've just got so much happening in our incredible world and our opportunity and what we've got that's happening and going on. And Joe is getting on a plane, incredibly, tomorrow to go to Europe for a European tour. You'll be in Western Europe. You'll be through France and Paris, into Scandinavia, he's going to be in Sweden. He'll also be in the UK. He'll be in Ireland for some time. So he's over there for nearly 2 weeks. And we don't want him to even get his voice up at all because he's got to speak for the next couple of weeks. So, Eric, you and your team have got me going forward here, and I'm certainly looking forward to sharing with you just a very, very brief overview of who we are, what NHT is today, where we have come from, but most importantly, where we're going, and what's hopefully, possibly in it for you and your inner circle, the group and the team that you've got on with you. Your colleague, Peter Glickman, he's on with us right now. He's a renowned author here in the United States. He's just north of me in Tampa. He is on this call as well, and Peter will be, you'll be hearing from Peter here very shortly. So, gang, just to cut right to the chase here, again, my name is Dan Catto. I'm the founding distributor to NHT Global. I have found this company back in 2001 in Toronto, Canada. We started with just one product and just with a handful of people at that time with a pretty big vision. And we have some slides that are probably coming up in front of you on this webinar. I am calling you from my car because the weather here in South Florida has been torrential, to say the least, in the last 36 hours. So I couldn't get back to my place or get to an area where I can get online and do this webinar with a slide. So you're going to see some slides on our business, our industry, our company, our products, our compensation, most importantly about our company and who NHT is. But I want to give you, again, just a very brief overview. So I'm not going to be in sync with these slides because I can't see them. So you'll get the slides, but you'll get kind of an overview and a pretty good picture, I believe, and a snapshot of what's happening and what I shared with you and where I want to take this message for you and to you. So, again, back in 2001, in the field, the president of the time of NHT Global had come to me about a vision that he had that he shared with me that I embraced, and that was to take our opportunity and our product, and eventually it was going to be products, around the world through virtual franchising. And that was being able to, at that time, back if you go back 15, 16 years ago, where the internet and there wasn't as many computers in the homes around the world, it was really in its infancy. And what we saw at that time was being able to take a product and then products and an opportunity again through virtual franchising around the world. Now, we were starting in Toronto, Canada with just, again, a handful of distributors. We introduced our very first product, which was Allura, and at that time, there was nothing else like it. Allura was the introduction to the first female version of Viagra. Now, when I first heard about this, I came from a very Christian home. My father, United Church minister, missionary work. As a matter of fact, in Africa in the late 50s and all through the 60s, I grew up in northern Rhodesia at that time, which is now Zambia. I came from a Christian home, and I thought, my goodness, the female version of Viagra, I don't know if I can sell this. But I took out the emotion, and I put on my business thinking cap and recognized as a businessman, just a few years before that, Pfizer had come out with a product called Viagra for men. And had done $1.4 billion, that's for the B, their first year in a limited market with a prescription drug that had side effects that would blind and sometimes kill men. And it was a product that was more expensive than what we had here. What did we have here? We had the female version, a much bigger market. No prescription, no drug, no side effects, Nobel Prize winning research behind it, and it was much more affordable, and we had the global rights. How big was that? So from a business standpoint, as a business guy, and my whole career in owning and operating my own importing company and working in a senior executive management position in the corporate world and having a successful career in this industry, we had the global rights to basically the female version of Viagra. And it was more affordable, and it had Nobel Prize winning research behind it. So I got pretty excited. We did well over 20 million that first year with no advertising, from a standing start, and introducing this concept of virtual franchising, which I'm going to share with you. But in 2002, we introduced a 30-minute non-surgical instant facelift, which was completely natural. 30-minute non-surgical instant facelift that was completely natural. How big was that? Well, one thing that we recognize is, anywhere you were in the world, it didn't matter if you were in Asia, Africa, Europe, South America, the North Pole, the South Pole. You ask the average woman over 35 years old, how would you like to look 5 years younger in the next half an hour, and it's completely natural and it's guaranteed. You knew you had no resistance, and we haven't encountered any resistance. Well, we introduced that product in 2002. Well, gang, since then, we have done well over $1 billion, nearing $2 billion in business around the world. But not just with those two products, but eventually with a fleet of products that fell in behind our flagship product, which was the female version of Viagra, and this 30-minute non-surgical instant facelift. We went into Asia, we went into Eastern Europe, we went into Western Europe, we've gone into the UK, we went throughout North America. Every market we've gone into, we've had overwhelming success. We've not only led with those products, but we backed it with our other products. And what has happened now through this virtual franchising concept that we've been able to introduce, where you can get online through our virtual concept, get registered, get involved for literally a few $100s or no more than a couple of $1,000, someone can start their own franchise, not in their community, but the global community. It had never been done before. We have recognized that our industry of direct marketing will surpass in the next 3 to 4 years franchising. Why? Because it's virtual and it's for the masses. We understood that if you can reach the masses, you can dine with the classes. And we've been able to do that through this virtual franchising concept, and being able to go online. You get your virtual back office, which we provide through NHT Global. And don't ever forget this, which is pretty powerful. You're dealing with our supplier that we have a relationship with, that is a publicly traded company that is recognized as the second fastest growing publicly traded company by Fortune last year. Fortune, it's a fact, has gone public that we were the second fastest growing publicly traded company, not in North America, but in the world. So all of this is transparent. You're not dealing with a private company. You're dealing with the second fastest growing company on the strongest stock exchange in the world in New York. As a matter of fact, we were the bell ringing ceremony just a few months ago in New York on the New York Stock Exchange. Pretty powerful stuff. Eric is aware of all of this, and this is why he's brought it to you. We have products with Nobel Prize winning research. We've gone throughout the world, success in every single market. We've created millionaires in every single market. When we started in 2001, we didn't have any. Today, we've got them in every single market we've gone into. Every millionaire has got there in less than 5 years. Most of them have never been involved in our business before. Most are women, and most are coming from the emerging markets, not the Western communities like Western Europe or North America, but from Asia, in the Far East, Eastern Europe, where the average income is $100 to $200 per month per capita. So when we go into the continent of Africa, and we recognize that the average income there may not be quite the same as Western Europe or what you've got in North America, that's okay, because that's where our success has been. In these communities where the people are hungrier, where the desire is stronger, and the teachability and the coachability is much greater, which gives us all a much better opportunity across the board. So we've done this. We've had this success around the world in every single market we've gone into every single time. Well, what's dear to my heart is I've come back to where I grew up, the continent of Africa. We have yet to walk, to march, to step into the continent of Africa, but today's our first step. And it's a step of a long, incredible journey of not just Nigeria, but all of the countries, all of the other markets within this incredible community. Africa is recognized in the direct seller by the Direct Sellers Association as the fastest growing community in the world in direct sales. It's got the greatest opportunity with the greatest desire for hunger and success. Eric, Nigeria will be the first. So it's not just Nigeria, it's the rest of Africa. As I shared with you, we've got now close to 60 millionaires. That means we've had over 60 people earn over $100,000 a month, marketing their products, building their business from their own back office virtually around the world. We've had 11 go over $100,000 a week in commissions. This is all transparent. This is all verifiable. This is all factual. As a matter of fact, our biggest check is a young lady. She was in her 40s. She was in her 30s when she came to America from China back in 2002, holding her 4-month-old, and couldn't speak a lick of English, and went to one of our first presentations on the product Allura. She couldn't get into the meeting room because she was holding her 4-month-old child. She was a single mom. Her name is Huna, again from China. Listened to the presentation with her ear pressed to the door. She couldn't get into the presentation because we don't allow pets or kids into our meeting presentations because of meeting etiquette. Well, she got very excited listening to this presentation. It was done, translated from English into Chinese, because there's a strong Asian community that we had in southern LA, in Southern California. She got very excited, left the room, left the hotel, and called the person that she'd answered an advertisement in Los Angeles, called the person that run that ad and said, we want I'd like to have some more of those products. They sent the products to her, and she called her family back in China. They said, send it over. A few weeks later, they said, send over some more. A few weeks later, they said, send as much as you can. A year later, her commissions went over $1,000 a month. 2 years later, her commissions went over $10,000 a month. 3 years later, her commissions went over $100,000 for the month. 4 years later, her commissions went over $175,000 a week. Our biggest check in the company is nearly $200,000 a week from a single mom who couldn't speak English, who came to Los Angeles just a number of years ago, back in 2002, 2003. That same opportunity is now in Africa and in Nigeria, the first country we set into Africa. So Eric, we're excited. We're very, very excited of what we can do and our possibilities that we have there in Nigeria and in Africa. And you and your team are the very, very first that we're going to be speaking to about this. Now, Peter, you're with me. Joe, I know you're with me. Joe, I know you can't talk, so we're not going to hear from you. But Eric, you know who Joe is. You've been spending some time with him, but your dear friend Peter's with me here in Florida. He's just north of me a few hours. I actually spent a wonderful day with him and his wife Marlene just a few days ago down at my home here on the ocean down here in Island Beach in Boca Raton, just north of Miami. So, Peter, you're here. You've got some exciting things happening with NHT. You and your team has just come on board here. I thought maybe you could share with Eric, which I know Eric knows about this because of your relationship with them, but kind of what's happening from your side and what you see here with NHT Global, not just here, but most importantly in Nigeria and Africa. So, Peter, over to you, my friend.
Thank you, Dan. Appreciate it. It's nice to be on this thing with you again. I actually have a lot of things I'd like to say because this opportunity is so exciting. You covered a little bit about the corporation, the fact that it was the second fastest growing publicly traded company in the entire United States. Last year was just, it's exciting as can be. The fact that you're in 40 countries, the fact that you're opening up 30 more, the fact that the products that you have are based on Nobel Prize science. And I've seen the explosive growth that the company is possible with, because I've only been involved now in a little bit because I've seen what can happen in just a little while. And I've seen the amazing number of people that reach out for the opportunity. And I think it has a lot to do with both you and Joe. And I think it's worth taking a couple of minutes to explain something. When a person looks for a business opportunity, and I've started several businesses, a person looks at a business opportunity, the first thing they want to look at is, who am I partnering with? What is that person like? Does that person have a successful track record? Is that person able to work with me? Can I work with him? Will that person look out for my best interests? And that's essential. And I'd just like to tell you that my experience with Joe and Dan has demonstrated to me that they really care, not just about the products and about building the business and about making the money, but they actually care about the people involved in the business, that it is something that we are using, and I add myself in here, that we are using to help raise the consciousness, to help raise the ability and the living lifestyle level of people all around the world. I've seen Joe give unstintingly, without any reservation on his time. The reason he's so hoarse is I've had poor Joe on a bunch of different phone calls, and he just is so willing to give up himself and not only teach about the business, which is an amazing business, and he really understands how to open countries, because Joe and Dan have opened up over 30 countries themselves. They know what the steps are. They know how to do it. And Dan's the same way. I mean, I was really impressed when I went down and met him. My wife thinks he's a great guy because of the way he handled himself and because of his goals and his purposes for what he wants to do in terms of helping people lift themselves on the scale, both in terms of spiritually and mentally, and also in terms of their lifestyle and their economics. Both of these men, Joe and Dan, could happily go off and live a life that is dreamed of by most people and not have to do another thing. But they continue to work the company and help other people achieve that level, because that's what they want to see. They want to see people actually achieving their full potential. So that's the people. The company has already been touched on. Any company that can grow over 600% in 2 years is an amazing company. The fact that their flagship products, the Allura that has been accepted so well around the world, really speaks to the fact that the products are strong by themselves. And there is a new product coming on, which is one of the things that excites me. And it's a product that's going to take a little while before we get it into the international channel. But it is a product that begins to work in a completely different way from other supplements that have been gotten out into the market. And the product is called Stem Renew, and it will be coming out in several months around the world. I can't tell you exactly when it comes to Nigeria, but I can tell you that the product is truly remarkable. I personally put about 300 or 400 people on the product, and in most cases, it produces truly a surprisingly good result. In some cases, nearly miraculous. So that's an amazing kind of a thing to do. The potential to earn money in the company is unlimited in terms of what they allow. And so I think this is really a great opportunity. And at this point, I'd like to invite Eric to maybe address the group and tell all of us what he sees that made him so excited about NHT Global and want to take this up and carry it to Nigeria.
Hey, just got to jump in here on that, Peter, because I understand I just got a text from Joey that Eric has got some internet issues, and we'll be able to hear from him just because of the internet where he is and in his part of the world. So I think it's really up to us now to wrap it with the team, and any questions that they might have, I guess they can get back to Eric. Gang, I just want to say that, so Peter, we're going to wrap it. I just got that from Joe from his side, is he's getting text or some communication from Eric's side that he can't really communicate with us because of the internet issues. But it's a part of, it's the world of technology that we're in, but we're going to be fine. What I recommend is that with the group that's on right now, you can get started immediately, and we'll share with you how to do that. You would need to get back together with Eric. Eric will go through that with you with Joe, and also with Peter, and then also with me. So through Eric, you can get back to us immediately and how to get yourself online, get some inventory, get some product, get yourself registered, and doing the same thing and opening up the market that we have there in Nigeria, as well as the rest of the continent of Africa. So we're excited about that. So, Peter, with that, I believe this is a wrap. Joe, if you've got anything else from your side, I know you can't talk, so maybe you can text it to me. But in the meantime, Peter, anything else from your side? Because I don't believe we can hear from Eric right now just because of the internet issues. So, anything else from your side, my friend?
Well, I think, Dan, the final thing I would say is that this is an amazing opportunity, and an opportunity like this doesn't come along very often. It's a proven product, a proven company, proven leaders, and we're going to have a lot of fun while we're doing it. So my advice would be jump in with both feet, get a hold of Eric, and let's get this thing rolling.
Okay, I'm with you on that, my friend. You're so right. Eric, sorry we couldn't hear from you. I know you could hear us from what I understand. I can't wait to meet you live. Can't wait to get back to Africa. I can't wait to get everything back over there in that part of the world that, well, that's where I grew up. That's where I started. And just like you said, Peter, we have got some other incredible life-changing products that we're taking around the world that you're so close to, that your heart is so dear to. So we're excited for the people in Nigeria. Africa awaits us, and I guess Africa awaits this incredible team that Eric has brought together here on this call today. So, gang, we're going to let you go. We'll catch up with you very, very shortly. Please get back together with Eric immediately. Immediately, Eric will be getting in touch with Peter, myself, and Joe Garcia, and we'll help you from there. Okay, gang. So thank you, Peter. Thank you, Eric. Thank you. Can't wait to chat with you, and we can connect. And Joe, we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye, everyone. Talk to you soon.
Bye-bye.